Hi everybody, and a huge welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make up one of these beautiful crocheted roses. So you will see just how easy these are to hook up. They are simply just a 2-row pattern. Now you can add these to clothing, maybe add them to hats, wreaths. You could put a brooch back on the back, add some leaves maybe, turn them into wonderful brooches. Just right for gifts, just right for stash busting, so you can upsize them by going up a hook and yarn size. You can use whatever yarn you have. I particularly like the cotton ones, how they turn out. And just look at this fabulous chunky one here. Now I don't have any chunky yarn at the moment, so I have used 2 strands of yarn together and a 5.5mm hook to make this monster of a rose. But today I'm going to be showing you this size here, so let's get going. For today's example, I'm going to be showing you using this Stylecraft Special DK weight yarn. It's 100% acrylic, and this is the colourway Fondant. I'm going to be using my 3.5mm hook. You're going to need a small pair of scissors, and you are going to need a darning needle to sew your rose together. So let's start by putting a slip knot on our hook. Now you can do this however you normally do. And we are going to start with a chain of 49. So just chain 49. 1, 2, 3, 8 and 49. So we've got our chain of 49. What we're going to do in round 1, we're going to work along this chain, putting in UK doubles, which is a US single. So not in this chain, which is the closest to your hook. In this second one along, we're going to start. So just to recap, a UK double. There's no yarn over, we just push through, grab the yarn, pull through, so you have 1, 2 loops on your hook, grab the yarn, pull through those 2, so that's 1, and again, 3. So we're going to work these UK doubles all the way along. You should end up with 48 stitches. And 48. Just going to tighten up there. So there you have your row 1. So in row 2 we're going to be starting to form our petals. So before we turn, I'm going to do a chain 1 up. Then I'm going to turn my work, and we're going to be working along these stitches. So remember, we have just chained this one up. We don't want to work in here. Our first stitch is this one here, but for this pattern we're going to miss the first stitch out. We're going to jump to the second stitch just here. Okay, and in this stitch we're going to be putting 5 UK trebles. So that's 5 US doubles. So as a recap, a UK treble is yarn over first, push through that stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, so you have 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook, grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through 2. So that's 1 UK treble. We need to put 4 more in this same stitch. So yarn over, push through, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through 2. Again, yarn over, push through, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through. So we have 1, 2, 3, we need another 2. So again, it's pull through 2, pull through 2. One more in that same stitch. Pull through 2, pull through 2. We're going to chain 1. The next stitch along we're going to miss. The next stitch along to that one we are going to do a slip stitch. That's simply push your hook through, grabbing that yarn, pull through, and the one that's on your hook. As you can see, we've made our first petal. Now this is the smallest size of petal that we're going to be making, and we're going to do 2 more at this size. So we're going to do the same thing twice again. So we're going to start by doing chain 1. The next stitch we're going to miss. The next stitch we're going to put in are 5 trebles. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to chain 1. The next stitch along we're going to miss. In this next stitch along we're going to put in our slip stitch. We need to do 1 more petal at that size. So chain 1, miss the next stitch. In the next stitch we're going to put our 5 trebles. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to chain 1, miss the next stitch. In this next stitch we're going to put our slip stitch. So you can see now we've got 3 petals. You will notice as we go, because we're putting in effect too many stitches in these stitches here, this will become a little bit windy. So you may find it a little bit fiddly, but the more you do these, the easier they become. So we need to put in our next 3 petals. We're going to increase the size by 2 stitches. So the process is exactly the same. So we've done our slip stitch. We're going to chain 1, miss the next stitch. In this next stitch here, we're going to put in 7 trebles. 1, 2, 7. Again, do our chain 1, miss the next stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to do our slip stitch. Chain 1, miss the next stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to again put in 7 trebles. Seven. We're going to chain 1, miss the next stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to do our slip stitch. Now we are using this pattern going to be making 3 petals of each size. So we've made 2 using 7 stitches. We need to make another. So it's chain 1, miss the next stitch. In the next stitch we're going to put in our 7 trebles. And 7, you've got it, chain 1, miss the next stitch, in the next stitch do our slip stitch. So here's a good time just to check back. You should have 1, 2, 3 petals using the 7 trebles, and then 3 petals using the 5 trebles. So 6 petals in total. We're halfway there. For the next 3 petals, we're going to increase the size by 2 stitches. So we're going to chain 1, miss the next stitch. In the next stitch we're going to be putting in 9 trebles. 1, 2, now as we go on you'll find you may need to cinch these stitches around so that you can get them all in. 8 and 9. So as you can see it's getting quite cramped in these stitches, but just stick with it, it's worth it. So you're going to do your chain 1, miss the next stitch, and in that next stitch you're going to do, you've guessed it, your slip stitch. So you're just going to repeat this 9 stitch petal another 2 times. So I finished my 3 petals with 9 stitches. You should have in total 9 petals in all. We have 3 more to do, so you know what's going to happen now. We're going to increase in size. So as I say, just cinch those stitches around. You will get all of these stitches in, no problem. It's just a little bit fiddly if you're a beginner. So I'll start you off with the first of our last 3 stitches. We're going to chain 1 up, miss the next stitch, and in the next stitch, you've guessed it, we're going to be putting in 11 trebles. So just take it nice and slowly, make sure you get those 11 in that one stitch. So I've done 3, 4, and 11. So chaining 1, make sure you're pulling those back so you can see where the next stitch is. We're going to skip the next stitch, we're doing our slip stitch, and then I want you to repeat this size petal another twice, and I will meet you at the end. So I've completed my final petal and my last of the 11 stitch petals. I should have 2 stitches left, 1, 2. I'm just going to chain 1. Again, we're going to miss the next one. In that final stitch, we are just going to do a slip stitch to bring that petal down. Then I'm going to do a chain, and I'm going to cut my yarn. So I'm going to allow quite a length because we're going to be using this yarn to sew our flower together. So I'm just going to pull that through. And then this is what you should have. So you should have 12 petals in all. Obviously, it will be a little bit of a twisty mess at the moment, but I'm going to now show you how to put your flower together. So this is how I like to wrap my flowers. You will find your own style. I like to have the right side of my work facing me. Now, very often you can't tell the right and wrong side. So have your smaller petals just here with this tail on your right hand side, and I am going to start to wrap away from me. So you are going to wrap and then just curl your work up. So try and keep the bottom of your stitches sort of level. This tail end may become a nuisance, but we can just weave that in at the end. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm just wrapping my work around, and you can see the bottom of these stitches. I'm trying to the best that I can. I know this is going to be a bit fiddly. The first time you do it, you think, oh my goodness. But trust me, you'll just get into a nice routine. The more you make, the easier this part will become. And then what I'm going to do is trying to keep all of that together. Just turn over. I'm just going to maybe shuffle those petals around a bit, and there you can see our lovely rose. So just gently I'm going to thread up my needle of my longer tail end. So I'm going to join this flower together. So I'm going to start on the back. Now I'm famously rubbish at sewing in on camera, but what I'm doing, if you can see, I'm trying to join all of the layers. So to start with, I'm going to go across. Okay, so I'm joining, I'm trying to get all of those layers. I'm going to go across to start with, then we're going to go up and down. Now you can do this as much as you like. I just don't want my flower to fall apart. Okay, so I'm going across a few times first. So just take your time with this. So I'm trying to get my needle within all of those layers, just to start us off. Now what I'm going to do, I just want to make sure I'm catching all of those layers. I'm going to go up through the middle, trying to catch a stitch of each layer of petals. Then I'm going to go down, catching another stitch of each layer. As I say, you will find your own style of this. The idea is at the end, this isn't going to fall apart. So I can see that this stitch here is a little bit loose. So what I'm going to do from the back, I don't think it needs to look too neat on the back. As you can see, I'm going through, up through each layer, just pulling that yarn up. Then I'm going to go back down through the center. Again, if you can see, my needle is going through each layer, and then I'm coming out at the bottom. So this bit you may need to take a little bit of time. You could shuffle those stitches around. Again, this bit here seems a little loose to me, so I'm going to go up through that layer. Now these stitches you're not going to be able to see because cleverly they'll get lost in the design. And as I say, I'm famously bad at sewing in on camera, so you'll be able to do it a lot neater. So I'm quite happy that this is now secure. I have my beautiful rose. All I'm going to do now on the back, I'm just going to knot my two tail ends together. So I'm going to knot once and twice. I'm going to take my scissors and just snip off those ends. Have a little play, and there you go. We have our beautiful rose. So let me know how you get on with yours. Do leave some comments down below. If you enjoyed this tutorial, then please do give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, and I will see you here next time. Bye bye.